Hi everybody, my name is Nikki and I'm just going to do a very short practice today, just building up to crow pose and also the possibility of jumping back, so transitioning from crow to chaturanga, low plank. So a lot of times these things get called in a class. We don't quite have the time to sort of figure out what we're doing or how we can even sort of prep our bodies for this stuff. So I figured today I'd do maybe like a 15-minute little bit of a video just to help you get some insight and maybe get you a little closer than you've been before. All right, so we are going to start in a forward fold. You're going to start at the top of the mat. If you don't have a mat, that's fine. You just need space where you can move. Feet are going to be wider than hip width, and a little turn out of the toes for this one is fine. Body's going to hang over the space of the legs. You can bend the knees, and you do want the head hanging heavy. So just nice big breaths, fill the back body. You do want a sense of the sits bones sort of tipping towards the sky. It's a little more, less effortful and a little more just by sort of tipping the weight into the front of the feet here, the balls of the feet a little bit. So my heels are a little light. You can see they sort of even lightly lift here. Just a few breaths. The other thing I'm just trying to do is get a little insight into how open my hamstrings are. We don't necessarily need our hamstrings for a crow pose, but I do sometimes do some work to open and warm up the core from a forward fold. So we'll play with that today. And another breath. And then the toes will turn out and we'll sit the body down to a squat. So the knees will come wide, the upper biceps will come inside the knees. Right? If you drop to your deepest here, I want you to then pull the body up like an inch. For some of us, this squat will stop with the hips in line with the knees, and that may mean fingers on the earth for a little support here. So we're just getting started. Right? Lots of options to sort of take care of the body here. And we'll take a nice big breath in. And when you exhale, just fold slow. So you want to sort of roll through or work through all the muscles that are opening, stretching, and working here. Right? Nice big breath in, maybe a little lift to the heart, a lengthen of the front body. And then exhale nice and slow, resisting gravity, coming back to the squat. Right? We'll do that again. Nice big breath in. Exhale, fold. Inhale here. And hips go down. Last time, in and fold. Last time, in. Down to the squat. Nice big breath in. And then plant the hands and just step the left foot back for a lunge. So it's a long lunge, dragon pose though. So both my hands stay inside the right foot and just drop the left knee down. Right, some of the weight is dropped into the pinky edge side of my foot. I've left my foot grounded, but you can also let the knee open as long as it's safe and steady. But mostly just here, try to find a little bit of stretch along the left leg and into the right side groin. Right, so we think of arm balances as being a lot about strength, but if you don't have the space, right, the mobility or flexibility to sort of put the body in some of these places, it's not always easy to find sort of strength and stability in some of these poses. A lot more work than it needs to be. Yeah. And then a little bit of movement here. So left toes tuck under, left knee lifts. You can be on the palms or up on the fingertips. Right, on your inhale, you're going to drop the hips. That left knee, we're going to get close to the earth again, and you're going to lift the heart. And then when you exhale, you're going to arch the back towards the sky, hollow out through the front body. 2 more times. Inhale. And out. Good. Last one. In. Hug the whole front of the body towards the spine. Cat pose here, rounding. Neutral spine. And left hand stays grounded. Nice and slow. Extend the right arm for the sky. Keep that right foot anchored here. 2 nice big breaths. Twisting from the navel. Left knee could always come back to the earth. Good. And then right hand lands. And then just a nice step forward to squat, right? Big step, couple little steps, doesn't matter. Hips drop again. Once you find the depth of your squat, try to lift just a little here so there's strength. Another breath. And then the hands land, woo, right foot goes back. And for the first few breaths, right knee lands. Right, hip sinking down and forwards. Right, some of you in this one would be able to find the forearms, that's fine. That stretches a little more about the right quad, but it is okay. Another breath. Good, we'll find the movement here, a little bit of opening, right? So the right knee lifts, that leg gets strong, and then as you inhale, drop the knee, lower the hips, lift the heart. And as you exhale, arch the back towards the sky. Good, 2 more times. Inhale, so it's like a cow pose here. And breath out. 1 more time, in. And out. Good, find that neutral spine, right hand steady, left arm extends for the sky. Right, trying to keep that right leg strong, so don't let the right heel collapse wide. You can always drop that knee to the earth. That might feel steadier here for you. Right, try to keep this right shoulder moving away from the right ear. Right, and even though we are in a twist, we should feel this sense of the core working here. Another breath. And then left hand lands. Slow step forwards, finding the squat 1 more time. Right, lifting the heart. 2 big breaths. Good, and then fold forwards here. Yeah. Tent the fingertips, right? If you can't find the fingertips here without sacrificing the bend in the knee, that would be a good point to bring blocks or something to elevate the earth, right? Books, we're all at home, may not have yoga props. And I just want you to keep your left leg straight and then hover the right foot up and off the earth. So you can see my leg is still next to the left and I haven't bent the knee. I'm drawing navel to spine and that right sits bones lift. Sits bone 1. Good. So left leg up, lifting the left, sit bone up, plugging that thigh in and down. Good. So 1 more time. I'll show you from the front just so you can kind of see what's going on, right? Without really shifting, I'm just plugging my right leg in, right? I'm pulling up through the navel, back of that right leg is lifting and lower. Yeah, second side. So again, we're just starting to build some fire in the core. Legs are straight. Good. And then from the top of the mat, bend the knees, plant the hands, and step back to down dog. Heart reaching towards the space between the toes. Take a couple breaths here. Nice stretch through the shoulders. And then we'll extend the right leg up and back. Nice big breath in. Right knee to left bicep. And now to right bicep. Left bicep. Right bicep. Pull high, and step the right foot lightly right behind the right ankle. So you can see my right knee is really high up on my right bicep. And this is just like a little bit of play. Right foot stays anchored. You're just going to start to kind of rock the weight forwards and back, right? And eventually, just a little bit of play, that left leg is going to lift, right? So my right leg is still anchored. And then just a slow step forwards, the left foot comes behind the left wrist, right? Hips can drop down, hands can come to prayer at the heart. So knees are still high up on the biceps here. Good, and then I'm going to plant the hands right in front of the toes. So my wrists are actually right in front of the toes. I'm going to lift the hips. Right? I'm going to come up on the ball of the left foot. I'm going to hug my left heel in towards the butt. And then slowly, I'm going to extend the left leg back, press it high, take a breath. And then left foot lands. Slow step back to down dog. Good, left leg rises, nice big breath in. Left knee to right bicep for the twist. Left bicep. Right bicep. Left bicep. And then slowly sneaking that left foot behind the left wrist. So it's a little different coming forwards than back. Right, so I stay grounded through my left hand, left foot, and just rocking the weight forwards and back. Little momentum for this first one, and then a slow reach up of that right leg. And then nice and slow, bringing my right knee towards the right bicep. Right foot lands behind the right wrist. And slowly sitting down into the squat. Good, hands land. Starting to lift the hips. So now I lift my right heel, hug it in towards the butt, taking a breath. Extend that leg back, nice big reach, maybe press higher so the glute engages, and then stepping back. Good, down dog. Couple breaths here. And then we'll come to a seat, hop, step, or walk. And from your seat, we're going to come all the way down onto the back body. So I have a yoga block here. If you have a pillow or anything else, also great. So just hold it off to the side for a moment. When you get to the back body, just hug the knees in towards the chest. You know, knees can come a little wide, but bring the toes to touching. So my big toes are connected, my knees are wide. You know, if you've seen crow pose, it's starting to look a little like it here. Rocking maybe the hips. So if you don't have a lot of space or openness in the hips, even doing you know, a flow class or opening the hips a little more before this, you know, might be helpful. The reason we use the block here is to support the head so that it's lifted, but that you're not really straining the neck. So this is a little bit high, you know, a smaller block or even a couple books might be enough for you here. So the big toe stays touching. I bring my knees really wide. And just like I did in my squats, I'm gonna pull my knees towards my biceps. So you can see I need to get them between my elbows and my armpits. Now, if I roll my tailbone up and off the earth, my knees sneak up the arms closer to the armpits and my core is also engaged. I'm gonna bend my elbows and flex my wrists. I'm gonna take a big breath in. And as I exhale, I'm gonna flex the right foot and try to bring the toes to the wrist or even further down on the arm. And then bring the toes back. Inhale. Other side, left foot flexes, toes as far down that arm as I can get them. Oof, and come back. Good, 2 more, big breath in. Exhale, right toes towards the right wrist, lower if you can, curl the tailbone up. Good, big breath in. Make sure the tailbone's curled up. Exhale, left toes down that left wrist. Good, last time, big breath in. Exhale, right toes down the arm, tailbone curled up, nice and fiery. Last one in. Breath out, left toes towards the left wrist. Oof. Good, release the legs. If you used a block, you can get rid of it here. Take a couple breaths. Right, so essentially just moved through crow pose there. Let's rock up to a seat. And we'll plant the hands and fold forwards here. Good. So one more time, tenting the palms, fingertips on the earth. You can use anything to bring the ground higher, right? Right foot hovers straight up and off the earth, and then you're going to try to tap the right wrist. Good. Same with the left foot. So this is great work for handstands as well, actually. Same sort of firing up and work to use the bandhas or pelvic lift. Work in the core to help find some lightness, especially the strength and support from the muscles in the front of the legs. Yeah, if you have really open hamstrings, right, bigger challenge is going to be to land the hands. You're going to tip forward, shoulders past the wrists, so my heels are floating. Right leg lifts, and I tap. Left leg lifts, and I tap. Woo, that one didn't quite make it. All right, take a few breaths, nice lazy fold. Good. And then one more time into the squat. You want to think of rounding the body. So we're going to reach the arms forwards. You're going to hollow out through the front of the body, almost like a cat pose, right? So rounding the spine away from you. Chin can drop to the chest. All right, so this is the prep here. Good. Hands are gonna land, and you wanna think of the hands about shoulder width apart, right? You wanna think of Chaturanga, so that sort of bend in the elbows is where we begin with crow. Eventually the arms straighten. So knees, the higher up on the arms they come, the better. So you might start down near the elbows, but eventually the knees come high. And what you want to do is wrap the elbows in, so they're pointing towards the back of my mat here. I'm going to plant my hands, and the way I teach this pose is that heels are high, right? There's a tip forward so that the elbows land over the wrists. My gaze is out in front of the fingertips between the thumbs. So I hollow out through the front body like we did on the back. And I'm already in the pose. So maybe the other foot hugging towards the butt here, right? You can sort of take a break, shift, move, find your breath. And then you go again. Eventually both feet lift, and like we did on the laying on the back, the big toes come to touching, right? So if you want, elbows stack over wrists, gaze out in front of the fingertips, maybe one or both big toes come together, hollowing out through the front body. Right? And you're working to lower nice and slow so that it's controlled up and down. Right? So take a few breaths. Right? If you tend to, in your vinyasa practice, jump back to Chaturanga, so landing with a low plank, you can build that from crow as well. So if you'd like, just keep practicing crow. If you're curious about the jump back, there is sort of a trick you can use to build your way up there. And we kind of started doing it earlier. So I'll show you with the right leg moving first so you can really see. So you come up like you would into crow pose, right? My elbows are over my wrists, but now I actually only just draw the right leg in. And I'm going to leave my left elbow on the upper bicep. I'm going to empty my lungs, press my hips up, and then shoot that leg back really fast. Right? And then I'm going to come forwards. Second side. So hollowing out through the front of the body, I tip forwards, my left heel draws into the butt, I empty out, press up, and shoot the leg back really light. And it just starts to give you some confidence as to how much strength is in the front of the body. So if you want to move through it completely, you do want to make sure that you're not collapsing forwards with the weight, right? One of the secrets to sort of light transitions in yoga is a sense of rising, right? You empty the lungs, you lift the pelvic floor, and there's this sense of sort of skimming above the earth as you move, right? So you can keep trying those, the one leg shooting back, making sure the hands are grounded and that you're watching, the earth out in front of you. Or you can also bring the knees up or arms, right? Fingers are spread wide. I tip forwards, I'm lifted here. Nice big breath in, empty, empty, empty. And then you shoot back. And then you can finish your vinyasa, heart lifts. This always feels nice after all that work. And then down dog. Yeah, drop the knees. Right. You can sit the hips back for child's pose here. Right. Sometimes I just like to sit up on my heels. Right. Notice where the pose physically is landed, right? What the body has to say. Right. But notice also that energetic voice of the body, right? And because of the energy in the body and whatever is happening with the breath, notice the quality of the mind. Right? Even something as simple as practicing an arm balance, has more than one purpose and definitely more than one impact. So I hope that helped. Arm balances used to be one of my favorite things. I actually practiced them quite a bit, but in recent days I've tended to find sort of a different kind of practice, but every once in a while I still like to indulge. So I hope you get something out of this video. Feel free to send me a message if you'd want to learn anything else. Hoping to do lots more of these. Thank you.